And I think that the Packers are actually going to do some surprising things. Man. I think Jordan Love is going to have his growing pains. Um, but I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's sat long enough, and despite what the reports say, I know Rodgers was just a total dickhead to him, and just like, I'm not going to teach you anything. I mean, there's obviously things you can't teach, that are God gifted talents,
Right.
but
Right.
things that you can pass down and that you can get just from learning and sitting and watching. Um, I think that I think Minnesota is. I think Minnesota. I think they're going to be competitive offensively. I don't know if their defense is going to be able to stop anybody. I don't think their defense is ready. I think they let too many people go. Kirk Cousins to me is just the biggest stat monger in the league. Like every stop that he's been, it's just he's a stats guy. I mean, he looks great, but it's like when you watch him, you don't really see it. You know how they say
Hmm.
the tape never lies. It's like you just don't really see it. Like Kirk can go out there and look good, look the part, win you a couple games, but when it really comes down to winning games, which is going against head to head against the likes of like Patrick Mahomes and those guys, it's like Kirk just can't. I just don't see him being able to take those guys over the top. Chicago has a really young team. Um, I think that Justin Fields unnecessarily will stop running and become a completely pocket quarterback. So I think that's where teams go wrong and try to turn these guys into what quote unquote is not a pocket quarterback, but you want him to be a creator, right? You want him to be a play creator. You want him to use his legs as his footwork to create plays, which either if that means we're going to move the pocket or if we're going to threaten the defense and then throw the ball, that's going to add to your longevity. And I think that's going to be the key for him. But otherwise, I think Chicago is going to be probably the biggest threat in that division. And I think Detroit, as far as I think Jared Goff doesn't get enough credit. To me, when I look at Jared Goff, I don't know why him and Kirk Cousins don't get the same kind of praise. I'm like, Jared Goff is he's the same tier quarterback. He just doesn't have the stats that Kurt has, and he doesn't
Right.
look as prolific on
Exactly.
paper. At the end of the game, you don't look at golf. He might be, oh, he threw for 220, where Kurt might throw for 385.
Right.
But it's like they really did the same thing. Essentially,
Thing.
they both only
Right.
threw two touchdowns. So it's like
Thing.
they only threw two touchdowns each.
Right.
But
Right.
Kurt just looks a little bit more prettier. So it's like
Because
you
he
put
got
lipstick
better
on a
weapons.
pig. Yeah, you put lipstick on the pig, it's still a pig.
Right.
Either way you cut
Right.
it. You know what I mean? It
Right.
may look a little nicer, but
Right.
I like what Campbell's doing. I
Talking
just
about
don't know if
Fat
the
Boy.
rah 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 is going to, I don't know if the rah 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 is going to be sustainable over years. Yeah, I think at some point Detroit's got to really let the rubber meet the road and say, okay, now that we've gotten our adrenaline out and we're playing for each other, we actually have to get back to fundamentals and execute consistently to us to be able to sustain the type of success. I don't know. I think Goff is the right guy for there. I think they got them in Chicago. I don't know if I would have gotten rid of all my veteran running backs just because of the pass protection. Is that you gotta be able to pass. And if Mattinson doesn't come back with many, and he don't come back as the same player, then letting Cook go is a big piece of that, a big piece of the offense. So I think it's going to be exciting where I go with the finish. I think that it's going to be between Chicago and Green Bay. I think Detroit's going to make a little bit of noise, and I think Minnesota. I think they're all going to kind of finish. Hate to say, I think they're all going to be kind of within that 7-10 to 8-9 or 8-9, 9-8 type of. I think their division is going to be kind of real close. With somebody just edging it out at the
Yeah,
end,
it's
but
wide open.
barely be over 500. But I don't think anybody's going to be like a 10 win team.